Well, welcome to Tyrrell's Classic Workshop. We are in the workshop, but it's a video with a difference, this one. One of the things that we all need in life is insurance in some shape, form, or whatever. And I have with me today Tim Phelps from Howden Insurance. And I've been a customer of yours for quite a few years, I think.
A long time.
Yes.
A very long time.
And we're trying to make... We're trying to achieve the impossible and make a talk about some of the more interesting aspects of insurance, almost palatable and watchable.
Yeah, I think so. This could be immediate sort of loss of viewing here, but I'm excited about insurance. And I think from my point of view, it's just getting across the passion for what we do to marry up with the passion for what you do. Right.
Beautiful. Right, I think we can just end it there.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
I'd like to just talk about some of the more unusual and left field things, the things that get you into trouble with your conformity team and things like that.
Okay.
Tell me about one or two interesting anecdotes that you've been involved with.
I mean, anecdotes always means bad news. It shouldn't mean bad news, but I think the key thing for me really is understanding a value of a car. So the scheme that we run absolutely is about insuring the business, but it's about insuring the car and perhaps the kind of history to the car. So a car might have a tangible value, an insurable value, but actually from my point of view, if something happens and there's a claim, it's not just that it's this year of car and it's in this condition. There will be a history to the car, there will be some provenance to the car. So there's no kind of anecdotes to it, but I think it's just understanding that it's got to be done correctly and having an insurer that will, in the event of something catastrophic going wrong, that we're understanding of the provenance of the car.
Well, you need to be very up to speed with the classic car world, don't you, essentially? Do you specialise in classic cars?
So the scheme that I run is a classic motor trade scheme, so we'll look after classic motor traders, whether they're vehicle storage, historic race prep, whether they're sales, restoration, fabrication, all of that. And we'll also look after collectors, so where you've got collectors with an unhealthy amount of cars, where they've got an understanding other half that lets them hoard stuff, but it becomes a business then.
Yeah,
so
of
it
course.
Becomes, but the knowledge, really from my point of view, yes, we're aware of the business, but we rely on people like you, so we will talk to our clients. Specifically, if there is a loss with a specific mark of car, I'm going to talk to you, or I'm going to talk to whoever specialises in that mark.
Okay. Just by the way, we are sporting a couple of the T-shirts, which are probably very insurance averse, actually.
I mean, Open the Taps, from my perspective, has more of a beer connotation, but actually I do like the sentiment there. I think I should have gone for a slightly larger size, but I'm always positive.
Absolutely.
Let's talk it up.
These have become sort of a couple of stock expressions on the channel.
Yeah.
Open the taps in this case meaning extreme acceleration with extreme throttle opening.
Yeah.
And this one, what can possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, both of which are obviously very insurance friendly.
Yeah. I think what could possibly go wrong pretty much sums up what we do. So it's me talking to a trader and going, what could possibly go wrong? And then we'll have an educated conversation about that.
Okay. These are available through our merch store. Plug.
Yeah.
But maybe we should, give you a few to sell as well to your customers.
I mean, Howden's had nothing to do with it. I think this is all your own idea. I mean, but they're fantastic. But no, what could possibly go wrong really is not me dictating to you, telling you what you should do. It's just pointing out risk, because you might go, I'm quite comfortable with that risk, but as long as I've told you what the risk is to the business, what could possibly go wrong?
Exactly.
And then it's up to you to make that informed decision.
Yeah. I remember years ago, I was involved in the Lord Brocket case, and it was general accident at the time. They paid out the first £250,000. This was in the 90s.
Okay.
And Lloyd's of London were responsible for the other 10.8 million, I think, from memory. I presume you, Aviva, operate the same thing, that they have a certain amount, and then over and above that, it's Lloyd's of London or some other weighty...
It depends on the risk and the size of the risk, and it's back to what could go wrong. So it's, are we as Howden, where we have the scheme currently with Aviva, are we happy with that risk, or do we buy excess, what we call excess layer? So we might say, right, Aviva's going to write £10 million of exposure, and then we might want to layer it up. We might go back to your example, Aviva pay the first 10 million of a loss, and then we'll go up and buy another 20, 30, 40 million, depending on the size of the loss.
Because some of these cars, I mean, you can't, to pick an example, a Ferrari 250 GTO.
Yeah.
You can't, that car, they made 39 of them or 40 depending on who you speak to. They could never be written off per se, even if it was rolled over, went on fire, crashed to within an inch of its life. Some of the parts were taken from it. There's still, there's sort of still, unless it disappears like that Aston Martin DB5 did, the Bond DB5. I think it was stolen from a garage in Phoenix in the US from memory, or a warehouse at the airport. It's sort of not possible to write off something like that.
No, it's not. And I think that's the education bit on insurance. So it's having a scheme that understands that. Because actually, if you just go to a normal motor trade insurer and go, right, there is £100 million worth of cars in here. Yes, absolutely. If they caught fire, take your example of a £50 million car, it's not going to cost £50 million to repair it. So it's educating that insurance market that this is what a loss looks like. Yes, on paper it looks horrific, but in reality it might be something totally different. And that's using then the specialists in the field for their opinion. How much would it cost to rebuild a car?
Yes. I guess you got diminution of value.
I mean, I can't say that word. But loss of value is one thing that we wouldn't look to cover, because loss of value is very difficult to prove that unless you were actively looking to sell it at that just a minute before the time of loss.
Right.
Because that's very difficult to say. And actually, you could argue back to provenance of a car, it could add to the provenance because it was involved in that, historic accident or whatever it might be. That might add to the value, which I know sounds crazy, because if you took it as an everyday car and it's a category D write-off, it's going to devalue the car. But in terms of classic cars, it might not actually affect the value of the car. It might have the opposite effect.
So if a rapper makes a viral video and crashes the car in the making of the video, I mean, I can't conceive of that, but I understand that it could work.
I mean, I think using that analogy of a rapper's, I mean, I wouldn't argue that would give a lot of provenance to a car. I'm thinking more of maybe a famous racing driver, who'd had an accident in it. And like a lot of these cars, they're triggers broom, aren't they? They've been reinvented, but they are essentially, it's part of the history of the car, and it adds to the story of the car, doesn't it? Yeah.
Okay, any tips for people?
Well, I think the big one for me, and the one that always comes up, is around insuring for the right amount of cover, but actually equally not over-insuring. So what I mean by that, so if you take your workshop today, and what it's got in today, that will be different to what it will be in 3 months' time. But it's making sure that you've got the right sums insured all the time. So really it's a case of, as a good practice, as a storage business or a motor trader, that you know what you've got in at any one time, to make sure that average doesn't apply. So average means, let's say you've got £10 million worth of cover, but at the time of loss you've had £20 million worth of cars in the workshop. The insurer could fundamentally say you're underinsured by that amount of percentage, so we're only going to pay 50% of your claim. But equally, what you don't want to do is be paying for £20 million of cover all year.
Exactly.
So it's back to that. Talk to us every month. Does it look the same? So in the summer months, you'll tend to be less busy because people are out using their cars, whereas today, when it's thunderous amounts of rain, the workshop's full. So it's being buoyant and making sure that you're on top of it. So that, for me, that's the key one. I don't want to go into too much detail because it's definitely a switch off, but for me it's important, and it's about protecting the business. It's about making sure that your staff have got a business to come to, that you've got the right amount of cover in place.
Yes.
So, we could talk about agreed value, but even agreed value, I would argue, on certain cars isn't the right way to go, because you could agree a car value at 200,000, but at the time of loss, the market value of it is 300,000, and actually you've set it at 200.
Right.
There could be arguments both ways, but
Right.
I think it really depends from an owner how much money you've spent on the car, and then agreed value is important because you've poured money into that car.
Right. Yes. It's a sort of double-edged sword, really.
It is. It is. But I will always be the bringer of doom, it feels like, and back to what could possibly go wrong.
Exactly. Yes, that could be our catchphrase.
I mean, it can be. I think I might take that. Have you patented it?
The patent's in the post.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I could take it then.
I think this is the most sensible conversation.
It is. I'm trying really hard to be sensible, but people come to you because they trust you with your car, and I want people to feel comfortable to at least talk to us. And even if you're happy with your current insurer, just talk to us. We'll do a review. We may say, look, your current offering is great, but actually, have you thought about this?
Yeah.
Have you thought about this? And just point out areas that a normal motor trade insurer might not have spoken to you about.
Yeah. Or even, for that matter, any classic car insurance.
Yeah, absolutely. So at Howden, we've got everything covered now. So whether you've got an individual car, an MG car, whether you've got a big motor trade business, whether you are a collectors club of 500 members and you need insurance for that, whether you're a collector, whether you're an overseas collector, there's big collectors all over the world where we've now got a solution for that, with people that are passionate. So
maybe the US, for example?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
We can look at doing that as well. I mean, it would be part of Howden US that would want to get involved in that, but Howden is growing so quickly. But the key piece here really is people buy off people. So it's not a mass thing. It's actually just bringing specialists into the teams, so you trust talking to us, rather than just making it a faceless thing. People buy off people at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, joking apart, you and I have built up a fantastic working relationship over the last how many years?
Yeah.
And I think insurance is such a potentially painful subject. It's a sort of stuck in the office that nobody wants to talk about in the corner there, looking terribly ugly, and you have to poke it occasionally and say, ugh, I have to deal with something to do with insurance. I think, on a personal level, I'm very happy to have dealt with you because we can have a laugh and a joke, and it makes it palatable, I think.
Yeah. It can be dry. It can be a dry thing, but I think the key thing is to just check your insurance before you have a claim. Don't check it after you've had a claim.
Yes.
Make sure you've had a good conversation with your broker.
Yeah.
And make sure that everything, you're not going to think of everything, but that's what you're using a specialist broker for.
Okay. Very quick one. What are the 3 or 4 points that you would suggest if you're thinking about insurance, your renewal's coming up?
Yeah.
What would you want people to ask, even if they're insuring their £2,000 MGB?
Yeah.
What would be your 3 or 4 points to grill their insurance broker about to make sure they're covered properly?
Yeah, I think excluding price, because price is the main thing on insurance for most people, but actually price isn't the most important thing. Service is important as well. But I think for an individual owner, understand the warranties of the policy. Does it cover who you want to drive it? If you do want agreed value, have you regularly reviewed that? Are you happy that that is the right amount? Because otherwise it can just knock on. In terms of a motor trader, have you got the bases covered? If you were going to start a business tomorrow, what do you have to have? So if you're dealing with things like vehicle lifts, are you complying with health and safety law? Have you got the right level of cover here? So if it goes wrong tomorrow, have you got the right level of business interruption cover if you can't trade? Just the very basics. But I think you should always take initially price out of it. I think you should make sure you know what it is you want. Once you're happy that you've got everything you need, then absolutely you can talk about price, but don't lead with price, because if you lead with price, you'll end up cutting corners. And then it's back to that analogy. You would have only then checked it at the time of claim, and it's too late then. you need to have made sure you've done a good review beforehand.
Okay. I'm not sure we've made insurance sound terribly enthralling, and I want to congratulate anybody who's made it this far in the video.
I'm really excited. I'm really excited by it. And I think that the benefit for me is meeting people like you and people that are passionate about their business. And I think certainly with the trade team that we've got, everyone that we've got on the team is as passionate. And if you can employ somebody that likes cars, that's a bonus, because ultimately that's what we enjoy doing.
Precisely. That is, you're right.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
And thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Pleasure. Thanks for coming all this way.
Thank
Tim?
you, Ian. I really appreciate it. And it might stop raining at some point.
Yes. Thanks for watching these. The merch store has taken us completely by surprise. Easy for me to say. We've sold thousands of items actually through our merchandise store, but we got caps, pens, these T-shirts. What can possibly go wrong? Open the taps. There you go. If you're looking for a Christmas present for your significant other, then look no further.
I mean, I'm assuming I'm going to need to pay you for this one, but thank you.
Oh, no. You're a friend of the business. Well, that concludes another Tyrrell's Classic Workshop video. Bit different to the usual format, but we will be back with something else more nerdy and mechanical and whatever else soon. Thanks for watching.